This is the homework help for lesson 12.3. The homework pages were 109 to 115, and I'll be going over a few select problems and try and get a few from every section. So the first I'm going to look at is number 2. Lines X, Z, and VW meet at point Y. Use a protractor to find unknown angle measures. I'm going to go through and actually use a protractor for all of these. And you can tell once again I've extended the lines using a pencil so it's easier to measure. Line X looks like it is going to be 45 degrees. So this angle here is 45. WYU is a perfect 90. Let's look next at UYZ. Looks like that one is also 45. This short angle here, line is not quite long enough, it looks like, but that is going to be 45 degrees. And finally, 145. Oops, excuse me, 135. Okay, so putting those in, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 45, 45, and 135. Now let's identify the vertical angles. These two are vertical. I can see they're both 45 degrees. It may be tempting to see this is also 45 degrees, but if you look opposite of it, there's no angle directly opposite that's the same length. But X, Y, W, and V, Y, Z. Then the other vertical one's a bit more hidden. We didn't actually find the measure of it. But X, Y, V has a vertical angle on the other side, W, Y, Z. W, Y, Z. If I add these two together, 90 and 45 equals 135 degrees. This one they've given you examples, so I'm not going to take the time to do that, but there's plenty of options for that one. Answers will vary. This one could be a little bit confusing, so I wanted to show what they want here. We've got two identical rays meeting at an angle. The first one, they want us to show an angle whose measure forms a sum of 180 with the measure of x. So, I'm going to extend both of these lines. Now, what are the two angles that were added to x equal 180? This is one of them, and this is the other. So I could either label these A and B, something to stand out so I know that these are the two that pair with that. Now if I do the same thing over here, I'm going to extend both of these rays. And where's the angle that's equal to x? That'd be the vertical angle, so that's one over here. And I'll just label that one C. But notice that's the only one that I'm drawing to signify. Next page, I want to slow down and look at question number 7. RS and PQ meet at N, so they're intersecting lines. Find the measures of P and R and Q and S. Well, the easiest one, I think, is to find if there's any vertical angles. Is there a vertical angle for that? Yes, R and Q. So R and Q is going to be equal to the same thing, 160 degrees. How can I find these other two? Well, I've got plenty of angles on a line now. R and P plus P and S should equal 180. So whatever this is, added to 160 should equal 180. So P and R has to be 20 degrees, because 20 plus 160 is 180. For the same reasons, this also needs to be 20 degrees, and I could add that or see that's a vertical angle, so that should also work. Let's keep on going with the next page. I'm on page 113 now. Number 10 is the one that I would like to look at. A, B, and CD meet at point O, and we need to find the measure of W. Well, where's my vertical angle? Ooh, I can see that this one is vertical because these two lines intersect at point O. So this angle right here, DOB, is going to be equal to this. or 75 degrees. I also see this as a right angle. So this angle plus this one have to be equal to 90 degrees. Well, 90 minus 75 is equal to 15 degrees. Now that's a pretty small angle, so that seems to make sense. And there's a couple on the next page for us to look at as well, or just number 12 actually, but there's multiple steps. A, B, and CD are lines which meet at O. Remember, you got to make sure these are lines, otherwise you can't guarantee that these are vertical angles. But we're told that these are lines, and we need to find three angles, P, Q, and R. Let's start with P, because that's the first one they ask for. P is a vertical angle to angle AOC, which they've given us, which means P has to be equal to 25 degrees. Next one they ask for is Q. Well, Q is an angle on a line with both P and this angle here. We just found out that P is 25. So 180 degrees minus 25 degrees has to equal angle Q. 180 minus 25 is 155 degrees. And that is an obtuse angle, so that seems to check out. Last thing they ask for us is angle R, which is maybe the trickiest one here, but if I see that this angle here plus angle P plus R makes angles on a line, I know that this right angle, or 90 degrees, plus R plus P, which is 25 degrees, is equal to 180. So if I subtract 90 and 25 from 180, R is going to be equal to 65 degrees. And I can check that by adding 65 and 25. Yes, that's 90, and this is a right angle. And they are both obtuse, so 65 degrees. All right, you've got one more page after this, and then after that's the thinking cap. So don't worry about page 116. But this is our last actual homework assignment before your quiz. So make sure if there's any questions, you hold on to them, and you may ask me during our review session tomorrow or send me an email. Thank you.